Alright, so we start with a opening video that just shows you the entranceway. We arrived at night, so we wanted to make sure we got a little bit of footage on the nighttime view of it. Here I just kind of went through the entranceway so that we could kind of see what it looks like. Here you see a nice view of my husband walking with our luggage as we go into the entranceway of the hotel. And it was actually kind of nice going in at night just because it's less traffic in the area. Obviously, you can see there's like a ghost town in that area. There's no one, so you have no issues with checking in. Hello, random woman. And you get right through to the front desk, no issues. And also you can kind of look around and explore the hotel without a bunch of people around. This is a nighttime view of the little atrium fountain thing they have going on. Now I take some daylight footage so that we can see the exact same thing but in the daytime. Some nice carved artwork they have on the wall. Really nice landscaping they have all around the front area. Sadly, you don't really get to look at it a whole lot when you're actually in the hotel or, you know, in the common areas where you actually sit. You kind of do a little bit, but not as much as I think I would like. Those areas down there are really not seating, it's kind of more walkthrough. And so here I go back into the hotel, passing by some people, and just in case you're not prepared for it, a lot of people are not aware of personal space or making room for oncoming traffic. And as you can see, during the day, the check-in situation is a lot different. Here is the gift shop. I go in there just to kind of give you a look around. There's a lot of things you can find in the parks, which is nice in case you forget anything that you want to still buy, or if you want to grab some last minute souvenirs, then you have that option here. If you forget your sunglasses, want to buy a few pins, keychains, holder for your passes, grab a quick drink or an ice cream, and then of course the most important section, which is all the toiletries that you may have forgotten or need to grab. I don't like to do a whole lot of audio when I'm actually filming, and part of that is because I know I personally would find it annoying if someone is talking and filming right near me while I'm trying to vacation and just enjoy my time, so I just try to keep quiet while I walk around these places. But this area in particular is just really relaxing, tranquil. It's a really nice place to kind of just get away if you've been at the park all day and just need to kind of get some quiet time. I laugh with my husband because I just think that the placing of where the water comes out is a little unfortunate, because it kind of almost looks like they're peeing statues, but still beautiful. Here is just some more walking around and a lot of seating areas. You can see there's places to sit everywhere, which is really nice, especially when you get in and you're tired. This is the sushi bar, which we did eat at, and I do put the actual information on it in here at some point, but yeah, it's beautiful. It's just got a really upscale feel to it. That's the Tower 3 elevators. And then around here is back to the lobby, so it just all goes in a circle, which is pretty nice. And then over here you've got the Tuk Tuk Market, and basically it's got a little coffee shop slash bakery, hot food item place, and then it's got a couple freestyle machines in that same area, and then a lot of little grab and go stuff that you can get for snacks if you need them. So I just went around here taking some footage so that way you can see exactly what that looks like. We actually had something that they called a peanut butter s'more bar thing that they had, and it was kind of like if cheesecake and a Reese's peanut butter cup had a baby. It was pretty good. Yeah, they have a little random options, so in case you forget anything, they've got you covered. I personally try to make sure that I bring any kind of small snacks with me. Me and my husband usually make it a point to have an extra carry-on that we will put, not carry-on, excuse me, an extra check bag that we will put a bunch of snacks or other random things in so that it doesn't take up space for our actual clothes and things. So that way we don't have to spend a lot of money on snacks at places like this just because we know the markup is pretty high. But I really love all the natural light that comes into this area. It's really pleasant. The way that they designed it just kind of makes it a very smooth walk through. You can get to everything and see everything pretty easily. Once you go around or walk around and explore at least once or twice, you more or less know where to go. As you can see, the luggage service areas and everything else gets really, really busy in the early morning times because of course that is the prime time for people to want to come and check in, because then you get the full day experience for when you're actually logging or checking into the hotel. Here I'm just kind of walking down to meet my husband because he went downstairs after I was kind of taking my video footage. And here you kind of go, this is where you can go downstairs, and then that walkway right outside the door actually leads you out to the place where you can get to the water taxis and the walkway to get to the Universal Parks. This is the walk to our room and then the room tour. So the walk to our room actually took about a minute and a half, I would say. It seems a lot longer when you're walking it than when I recorded it and looked back at how long it actually took. But I would say that if it's a concern for you as far as, you know, walking or distance, I don't know, we're checking out the ice machine, but yeah, if distance is an issue, then you'll just want to make sure and call ahead and plan for that because some of the towers are far away. We were in Tower 2. So here is our room, and it is a standard double queen room. And I really like that their bathrooms and everything are pretty updated. It was a beautiful shower. The water pressure and amount of hot water is perfect. There's no end to the hot water, which is beautiful. Great amount of space for stuff, at least for 2 people. We always kind of chuckle to ourselves about how, you know, many people fit in rooms like this because we feel like we take up all the space even in a room like this with 2 beds. But yeah, we like having the extra space when people aren't with us. And yeah, they had your standard little fridge and other stuff. Now here we tried to go and open this because I think it looks like an ottoman, and honestly I think it's kind of a sad waste that it's not an opening ottoman because that could be extra space for you to put like your shoes, but either way. And yeah, that's basically the room. It was comfortable, beds were comfortable, great sleep, and we didn't have really much of a view, but we didn't really care because we don't spend a lot of time looking out the room anyway. So these are the room pamphlets and the information that you get inside your room. They make it pretty easy for you to follow that. This is the full room menu. So that way you can see and kind of pause here on any of the pages if you want to check out the times that they have those foods available, what kind of foods are available if you're going to stay there, and that way you just kind of have a better general idea of what to expect room service wise. We had 2 different pizzas when we stayed there. One we ordered probably around 2 in the morning, and then another we ordered during regular hours. This was the pizza that we ordered at 2 in the morning. It was delicious. It definitely tasted good quality. And these are the water taxis, which I was pretty excited to ride because, you know, it's just kind of one of those little added experiences. If you've never ridden one, that's just a bonus thing that you get to do that's different and fun. So here I just kind of went through the whole little ride, so that way you can see kind of start to finish what it looks like. I did speed it up quite a bit, so that way you don't have to waste a lot of time watching a lot of footage that you may or may not care about. But yeah, it's a really nice, pleasant, tranquil ride. I definitely am one of those people, and so is my husband, who gets motion sick pretty easily. No fear of that whatsoever on this boat. It's very smooth, start to finish. No issues with motion sickness whatsoever in it. And like I said, you can't beat those views. Getting to see the parks from that angle is just really, really nice. The breeze was beautiful. And there was some sort of dance thing going on there that I got to catch a little bit of. And yeah, then you get left at a really nice little spot where you get to go right up to the gates pretty quickly. And this is the walking path. So right here, disclaimer, I go the wrong way to the water taxi, and then I went this way, which was actually the ramp for wheelchairs, but then here is the actual walkway. So once you get started, to the right is the pool, and to your left is the water, and there's a couple little random sand features in this area. Not sure what they're for exactly, but they're there. So if you want to check those out for pictures or anything like that, you have the option to. It was a fairly easy walk. It only took probably 8.5 minutes, and that was walking relatively slow. There are people who try to rush past you, of course, and a lot of them don't say excuse me, which is fine, but I'm just used to having manners that way. So I definitely always say excuse me, and honestly, I don't really try to rush through this part of it. And sorry about the camera movement, but I don't really try to rush through this part of it because honestly, it is a hurry up and wait situation, because you would literally be rushing to go and stand in line to other things. So while I appreciate the hustle of those guys, I'm not in any hurry because I know once I get there, I'm just going to be in a line anyway, so why rush? Might as well just take your time. Not to mention, if you trip and fall, hurt yourself, that's not going to do you any favors either. But yeah, see, that wasn't very long, and already you can see the parks and everything else. And then right around this little corner is where you have your own little private entryway. And now this is where I started the return back. And this is about dusk, and you can see the views are pretty nice. A lot more people traffic when you come back, especially because I didn't really leave my hotel at the time that a lot of people do. I like to sleep in personally on vacation, but that's me. And my husband was trying to hurry up and get back to the hotel, so he walked a little bit faster than me, if you can tell. But yeah, it was overall a pretty pleasant walk. But yeah, it's a nice breezy walk. No issues getting anywhere. Again, you feel safe the whole time because there's not really any kind of crazy foot traffic going on through here. And that's our hotel already. So basically just a little bit longer and there it is. You're back at the sand areas and the pool area, which is next point of the video. Slowing it down a little bit here so you can actually get a good look at the pool area. So I mentioned this later in the video, but the pool area was unfortunately closed. As you can see here, there's nobody inside the pool even though the pool is open. So they closed it 4 out of the 5 days that we went, saying that it was too cloudy. I'm not sure what they meant because it did not look too cloudy to me, but you can see the sign right there. They weren't letting anyone in there, which was a huge bummer because look at how beautiful that water looks. I mean, it's almost painful coming back from a full day at the park and see those kids too look, you know, holding their hands out, pointing at it like, look at the water, and then they can't get in it. But yeah, so that is the pool. We got in, I think, 2 times the whole time we were there, only because it was closed most of the time, which really sucked. They do movies during the pool time hours once it gets dark enough, which I thought was really, really cool. They're for kids mostly, which I had no problem with. Anything that entertains kids more or less will entertain me, or I can ignore it while I have my drinks and just kind of stand nearby. But there are 2 hot tubs, which we spent most of our time in because the pools weren't open. And those are on the other side of the pool. This was just an area that we sat. Alright, and right here we just took a quick look at the gym. Pretty standard, had a good amount of equipment. And then we also took a quick peek and tour around the locker rooms, which surprisingly were a lot bigger than you would expect for a smaller hotel gym. Definitely had everything you need shower wise to be able to go from the gym to the parks if that is a plan that you have in mind. And also have plenty of towels to make sure that you have what you need in case you didn't bring any towels down from your room. And a big added bonus that I thought was really nice is that they had a wet and dry sauna. Not very common in hotel locker rooms, so yeah. And then food. So this was a nacho plate that we got poolside, which was delicious. We also ordered a few drinks at the pool, which were great. This is the sushi bar that they have inside the hotel. We got edamame as our appetizer, and then we got 2 sushi rolls. The one in front is a crab ragoon roll, and the one in back, it's called a spider roll, and it's soft shell crab. And they were both delicious. Musician that was playing the saxophone, which I thought was a really cool touch. He was playing contemporary songs and I really liked that. This is the Islands restaurant and we went there for a different day's dinner. These are some Mai Tais that we got while we were at the restaurant. Delicious. This was crab ragoon appetizer, also super delish. That sauce was really yummy, slightly spicy. These were a half rack of short ribs that my husband got, or sticky ribs, excuse me, and then mine was a salad, a shrimp Thai salad, I believe. This was a buffalo chicken pizza that we got from room service. Great thing about room service, they brought things in about half the time they estimated. Alright guys, so you just got through watching the footage on my stay at the Lowe's Royal Pacific Hotel Resort, and I wanted to go into exactly what I rated them and then how I arrived at that. So I want to just kind of explain my criteria on exactly how I arrive at my rating, so that way you can judge for yourself what you think about it, if you want to stay there, and what you might do decision wise on where you stay at Universal the next time you're there. So first and foremost, I rated them a 8 out of 10, and there's a couple of different things that I rate a hotel on that I'm going to go into here. So I go by cleanliness, I go by amenities, I go by the location and proximity, you know, basically to where it is to everything else that I'm trying to go to or see. I go by dining and food, bed comfort, did I sleep well? Was the staff and service good? Safety and security, did I feel safe during my stay? Value of what I paid versus what I got out of the trip. And then last but not least, would I come back and would I recommend it? So that being said, let's get into each one of those categories and what I felt about those, and where I actually felt the hotel fell a tiny bit short, which is why I didn't rate it higher than I did. Let's get into that. So for cleanliness, they were definitely a 9 out of 10. Almost everywhere was pretty pristine and clean. The main thing that I docked them on and why I didn't feel that they were worthy of a 10 rating is just because the hotel room in my particular case kind of smelled a tiny bit like mildew and like humidity. I'm not a fan of that, and what kind of drove it over the edge for me was the fact that the main lobby areas smell really, really good. So there's some sort of signature smell that they use all throughout the main lobby areas, and it smells kind of like a clean, slightly honeysuckle floral smell. It's really, really pleasant, but the problem with that is if I go through your lobby area and all of that smells really, really good, and then I open the door to my hotel room and it's a little musty, that's not a good thing for me. And I think that it's also a missed opportunity, honestly, for them to do some advertising for whatever scent they use. Maybe spread that signature scent throughout the entire hotel, including your rooms, because I mean, who doesn't like a good smell, right? So if they had something like maybe even a room odorizer in the room that you could spray yourself, that would be cool too, because if I went in there and it smelled a little, you know, musty, but there was a spray that smelled just like the lobby, I might have not even complained about that. That might have not even been a big deal for me if that turned it around, but it didn't. So I just wanted to make sure and throw that in there, because I don't like when I go into a hotel room and it doesn't smell pleasant, or it doesn't smell fresh and clean, and it just kind of smells stale. Next, amenities. So this one is definitely one where they fell the most short, and this is really the primary reason why I docked them on my rating. So when you're looking at a hotel, I don't know if you're like me, but I look at all of the amenities, especially the pool, if I'm going during the hot times of year, especially if I'm going to relax, I want to enjoy myself, and I want to be able to have somewhere to unwind after I've had a long day out. So the pool was definitely a big factor for me and my husband when we were looking at this hotel in particular. So when we got there, and 4 out of the 5 days, not kidding at all, this pool was closed off for anyone to get in it. So I know I kind of mentioned that in the video footage where I'm going around the hotel and around the pool. So I kind of misspoke when I said the pool was open, I think at one point in the video, and it wasn't. So what happened was the pool area was technically open, and the two hot tubs that they have were open, but the pool itself, which is the biggest part of the pool area, obviously, was closed, and that sucks. Like, who wants to go to a resort that has this really amazing looking pool and then not be able to use the pool? Womp womp. So I thought that really sucked, in my opinion. So because of that, I only gave them a 6 out of 10 for amenities, because for one, I know that they can fix this if they get their act together and they do get a better, you know, on-call pool service, something like that, which I would have thought they would have already had, considering they are such a big resort. But either way, I think that they can get it together, and get this pool going and make sure that if it is down, that it's only for a short period versus it being down for 4 whole days. And that was only, my experience. I don't know if other people were there only during the time that it was closed, in which case that would be a huge dissatisfier for me. But that's why I rated it a 6, and I just wanted to make sure and let you guys know that. So that way, if there is a time that you're planning to go to a resort, if you see anything in the reviews, which I'm big about watching reviews and looking at reviews, especially on Google and things like that, for hotels in particular, I would call ahead and say, hey, I just wanted to make sure and see, are you guys having any issues with the pool area closing recently? Because if that is a case, I don't know if I would want to stay there if a pool was a big draw for me when I'm staying at a hotel. So just putting that in there. Next, I'm going to talk about dining and food. So for this one, I definitely give them a 9 out of 10. I thought that for a hotel period, to have a full-on beautiful, not just, your average, but a gorgeous sushi restaurant within the hotel itself was amazing. Not only that, but they have a secondary restaurant, which I believe is called Jake's. And that one has American food. I didn't taste that one personally, but just to have quality restaurants within a hotel that you're staying at, I thought was amazing. But then also on top of that, to have room service, for it to be fast, and also for the food to be really good, I definitely considered that a huge plus in their favor. So for that reason, I gave them a 9 out of 10. I didn't give them a 10 only because I have definitely had better food, I would say, outside of the area. So I can't really say they're a perfect 10, but for a hotel, just definitely amazing as far as the food quality came. So if that is something that interests you, or you're looking at the food quality within some of these resorts at Universal, this one is definitely a big contender, I would say. And part of what I compare that to is we stayed at the Endless Summer Resort, which is technically a tier below as far as the level of tiers that they have at the Universal Resort hotels. But I definitely feel like that one's more of along the lines of quick service. There really wasn't a whole lot as far as, sit down restaurant quality food. So this one has a huge step up when it comes to that. And if you're looking for decent dining experiences outside of the parks that aren't maybe as busy, then this one is definitely a big plus factor for that. Bed comfort. So for me, the comfort of the bed and how well I sleep are definitely a big factor when it comes to a hotel. So at the Endless Summer Resort that I've stayed at, and the reason I keep bringing that up is because that's one of the big ones that I'm going to compare it to, because it's the other hotel that I've stayed at the Universal parks. For Endless Summer, I felt like the walls were definitely thinner, which made sleeping a little harder when people next door get in at a different time than you, or more rambunctious, or maybe there's just more people in general staying in that room. So for this one, I never heard a peep out of anyone. It was very, very quiet in comparison to the Endless Summer Resort. Like I mentioned before in another part of the video, just a super chill, laid back atmosphere to this hotel period, just more adult and spa-like than the other hotels that I've experienced in the Universal area. So for that reason, I definitely had great sleep every single night. There is the caveat that when you're going to a Universal park for the entire day, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be so exhausted that you're going to sleep pretty much like a rock on any surface. But if bed factor is a quality issue for you, then I would say for this one, I never had an issue sleeping. Back and neck never hurt me. So I would definitely give them a 10 out of 10 for the bed comfort. So staff and service. This hotel definitely had what I would say a 10 out of 10 for staff and service. Every single person that we came into contact with or dealt with, from the front hotel desk to the people that we texted with on their text option to get any kind of accommodations, to calling for room service, every single person that we interacted with, to the people who delivered the food, were completely professional, courteous, on time with everything that we asked for. So you couldn't get any better than that. We definitely give them a 10 out of 10 for that. For my husband and I don't know about you, but where we spend our money, we definitely factor in how we're treated and how good the customer service is, as well as response time. So any of the time, just to kind of give you an idea, any of the time that we ordered room service, they would quote us a time and typically deliver the food within half of that time. I love that. I cannot say enough about people under promising and over delivering, because that is just the best experience. When you're expecting something to take maybe 45 minutes and then you get it in 20. Great. I love that. That is always a great positive in their side. It is always the worst thing when someone says, oh, it'll be 10 to 15 minutes, and then you're waiting 20 minutes and you're like, where is this stuff? So they definitely did a great job of doing that. Nowhere did I really have to wait in the line, honestly, for us in particular, start to finish, because we arrived at nighttime, so we never had to wait in any lines at the front desk. And actually, you know what? No, I'm lying. The one line that we did have to wait in was my husband had to wait for luggage services in the morning, the day that we checked out. Otherwise, that was really the only line. And as far as I can tell, he didn't have a problem with it. It was not that bad. But it's kind of to be expected that you're going to wait in a line, in the morning time for luggage services, when that's kind of a prime time for people to be, getting in and out and dealing with luggage and things like that. Safety and security. That's another big thing for me is, do I feel safe at this hotel? I can tell you that we are no strangers to being on the low budget end of vacationing. So we have definitely stayed at some questionable places in our lives, because that's just kind of how things go. I will say that within the last few years has been the only time that we've actually been able to afford vacationing. Before that, we were definitely no stranger to the budget and paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, because we were having to save for our house, which, was really hard, and we are not people who have huge incomes. And so we know what it is to have to budget and stay within your means when it comes to certain travel options. So we've stayed at some hotels that were definitely ones that you didn't feel 100% safe in. And that is something that I definitely judge a higher end hotel on, because I feel like that's part of what you're paying for, right? So you're spending this extra money. You want to know that that extra money is actually worth what you're spending. So in this particular case, they definitely did not fall short on the safety and security. Never once did I feel like, oh man, that's a seedy looking character over there lurking around, or that there was just people there that shouldn't be there. It all felt very, very safe, start to finish. When we checked in, when we left, when we walked around at night, everything felt very secure. So if you are someone who holds safety and security as paramount when you're looking at somewhere to stay with your family, I would definitely say that this is one that I would recommend for that. Going off of that, value of what you pay versus what you get. So I know that these days times are hard and everybody is struggling in one way or the other. So I am by no means unaware of the fact that travel is a huge luxury, and it is something that if you're fortunate enough to be able to do, then, that is something to definitely consider yourself fortunate, because there are so many people that don't get to do that. So for me, I know that one of the things that I'm going to consider when I'm looking at where I have, saved my money and where I'm going to spend it, is whether or not at the end of it, I felt that I got a good value for what I paid. In this particular case, again, and I've mentioned this in many of my Universal videos, Universal trips and vacationing and going to Universal period by no means is cheap. It is not. It is expensive. It is definitely a luxury. It is something that I will always be thankful that my husband and I are able to save and do. But I know that it is not something easy. But every time that we go, we are definitely happy and excited that we do it. It is one of those things that we feel fortunate that we're able to, get around to doing. And that being said, we definitely felt like this hotel in particular was a great value, and part of the reason why is that you get a unlimited express pass for the entire duration of your stay for all the guests in your room. So if you look at and compare the amount that you would pay per day per each guest, and then compare that to the amount that you would spend on just the hotel, when it comes to those things, we looked at both, because we thought, well, what if we just got express pass for a couple of days versus, getting this higher end hotel, which comes with it, is it really going to be financially the better option? So this one, 1000%, we definitely felt was. And the reason for that is because you could stay at a lower end hotel and spring for the express pass. The problem with that is when you end up combining the two, sometimes it could be more expensive to go that option. So you're not only staying at a further away hotel that's less quality, but you're also paying more money. So in this case for us, it just happened to work out that staying at the better hotel that came with the express pass financially was just the better choice overall. But not only that, but it was more convenient because it is a closer hotel to everything. So you're also able to make the most of your time while you're at Universal. So for that reason, we definitely consider this one a great value for what you pay. And then, of course, last but not least, would I come back and do I recommend that you try to stay here? So absolutely I do. I loved staying at this hotel. Weird little smell in the hotel room when I first got in there aside, I loved every second of it. And then also, again, aside from the pool being closed majority of the time, I still enjoyed every minute of being there. Like I said, the experience of the staff treatment, how great all of the amenities were other than the closure of the pool, which they said was for, I believe it was cloudy water. It didn't look cloudy to me, but maybe I've also just been in some pools where people didn't care. Who knows? But either way, I enjoyed the experience. I still got to go in the hot tubs, you know, when I was really tired after the parks, which was beautiful. I needed that. After 30, I definitely feel like I rust over after I do anything active for more than a few hours in a day. And that's just a huge plus to be able to get into some, you know, hot water, unwind with a drink, and just feel better after all of that wear and tear on my body and my joints. Also going into the vibes of the hotel. So my husband and I don't have kids, and we definitely enjoyed that this hotel in particular has way more of a spa/adult vibe to it. Nothing against kids, and if you have kids and you like the spa lifestyle too, that's perfectly cool. But I just wanted to mention that if you are looking for a more relaxed, more spa style of hotel, then this is definitely one that has more of that. The Endless Summer Resort that we stayed at, that definitely has more of a kid-friendly vibe. So if you have children and you're looking at something that's going to have more entertainment for them, I would definitely say that the Endless Summer hotels have more of those options. The just overall vibe of the place is more conducive to children, in my opinion. This particular hotel just has way more of an adult-friendly overall theme. If that is something that you're looking to get out of your Universal vacation, is to have some more adult time, an adult environment, then this hotel is definitely one you should check out. I enjoyed it. I loved it. And I definitely think that you should check this place out if you are, you know, looking for a place to stay at Universal. You know, you've looked at your budget and it is conducive to your budget. I definitely don't recommend doing anything outside of your means. If it means that you have to struggle because of it, then that's not really worth it. I have definitely stayed at an Airbnb, rented a car, or stayed at a lower end hotel when going to Universal, and I still enjoyed myself. I didn't have an express pass. I didn't have anything special. I just went and enjoyed it with my husband, and it was still very enjoyable. So by no means feel that you have to stay any particular place or do anything extraordinary in order to enjoy your time at Universal. You absolutely don't. You can just go and, you know, buy a regular one-day pass ticket and try to do what you can during that time. It's still worth doing and enjoyable if, you know, you have the ability to do that. But like I said, by no means feel that you need to go the extra mile and stretch yourself thin if it's not necessary. But if you do, and you know, have collected your coins, or you've saved and you know that this is something that you can afford to do, then I definitely highly recommend checking this hotel out. It was a great time for us. We would definitely come back if we have the ability to, but we still are planning to, take advantage of different options in the future as well. So even though we loved this hotel and we know it was great, we also know that there may be other budget friendlier situations that we might want to check out because we have other vacations that we want to do, or other plans, or household issues that come up. I definitely recommend checking out their website and leave me a comment. Let me know if you liked what this hotel looked like, if you are considering staying there, pretty soon or in the future, or if you're thinking about going somewhere else and why. Definitely want to interact with you guys, so let me know in the comments if that is something that you're thinking about. But also definitely hit that like button if you liked watching this video, if it helped you learn anything that helped you decide on a hotel, because it definitely helps the channel. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks Bye, guys. Again so much for watching. Please help support my channel by hitting that like button, and definitely, if you have not subscribed already, hit that subscribe and notification button. Make sure you get notified of the next time I have some new content. Have a great day, guys. Bye.